Black clouds rolled over Viridian, 6 like a silent warning. The colony slept. No alarms. No soldiers. No ships in the sky. Then the stars disappeared. Not by night, but by metal. A giant alien carrier blocked the sky. Its shape was wrong, like a dark blade hanging above the farms. Lights flickered under its hull. Hundreds of black pods dropped like falling stones. They hit the ground fast, bursting open. Silent armored soldiers walked out, moving like shadows. People woke up screaming. Mothers ran to doors. Children hid under tables. The aliens did not speak. They only pointed weapons that hissed with cold blue light. In 7 minutes, Viridian, 6 fell. No fighting. No warning. Just silence and fear. Inside a small school building, a boy pressed his face to the window. He watched his father being pushed to the dirt. His hands shook. The teacher closed the blinds. Her voice trembled. Everyone stay quiet. Do not move. Above them, black boots walked across the roof. The colony was weak. Everyone knew it. No army. No training. Only farmers, teachers, nurses, young families trying to build a peaceful life. The aliens seized the central tower and cut communication lines. The colony lights went dark one by one. But deep under the school floor, something woke. A small, hidden device, covered in dust and old wires, blinked for the first time in 100 years. Nobody knew it existed. Nobody alive ever saw it built. It scanned the environment. It heard the screams. It detected the invasion. Then it sent a message. A single code pulse shot into space. Not loud. Not bright. Just one signal, shaped like a whisper. Sister Protocol. Awaken. The pulse crossed empty space. Past broken satellites. Past forgotten routes. It reached a dark station orbiting a dead moon. Inside that station, frozen metal groaned. A machine older than the colony jolted awake. Screens lit up with red lines. A female voice, calm, cold, spoke for the first time in a century. Viridian, 6 captured. Sister colony, activate. Far away, hidden under mountains, a second colony opened its eyes. Walls slid apart. Ancient engines hummed. Soldiers ran, confused and afraid. They thought the old legends were lies. They thought Earth never built secret colonies. But the truth was waking. On Viridian, 6, the aliens gathered everyone in the main square. They scanned faces like they were searching for something, or someone. The teacher held the boy's hand tight. His eyes glowed faint silver under the night light. Just for 1 second. A soldier saw it. His voice cracked through the mask. We found the target. Cliffhanger. The child lifted his head, and the alien soldiers stepped back in fear. The boy's eyes flashed like silver fire. The alien soldier stepped back fast, gun shaking in his hands. Other soldiers aimed at the child, confused and afraid. This was not in their orders. The commander raised his hand, voice sharp. Do not shoot. Secure the target alive. People were pushed aside. The child was pulled forward. The teacher tried to hold the boy back, but a soldier struck her shoulder with a cold metal glove. She fell to the ground. The boy did not cry. He only watched the sky, almost like he was listening to something far away. Above the colony, the alien carrier shifted its shape, opening a new section of its hull. Inside, strange machines moved, long arms of steel, glowing scanners, containers lined with symbols from another age. The boy was their goal. Not the land. Not the people. A soft voice whispered in his mind. Do not be afraid. We are coming. Far from Viridian, on a hidden planet, Captain Mara Aiden ran through a dark corridor lit by red emergency lights. She reached an old archive room sealed with black alloy. 2 soldiers followed her, breathing hard. They were Helios Prime defenders, trained in secret, sworn to protect a colony nobody knew existed. Mara pressed her hand to a scanner. The door opened with a heavy sound. Inside was dust, cold air, and one metal box with a logo burned into its surface. A circle divided into 2 halves, connected like sisters. She opened the box. Inside lay a thick file marked, Project Sisters. Do not activate. Pages showed photos of two colonies built long ago. One open and peaceful, Viridian. One hidden and armed, Helios. A bond made by ancient leaders. If one colony fell, the other would rise without permission. Viridian was the bait. Helios was the blade. A young officer beside Mara whispered, "Did Earth do this? Did they plan to sacrifice those people?" Mara's voice was cold. "No. Earth planned to hide strength where the enemy never looks, behind weakness." She turned the last page. A child's drawing was attached. Silver eyes, 2 moons, and a black warship rising from darkness. The drawing was 100 years old. The face was the same boy taken today. On Viridian, the aliens placed the boy inside a scanner. Lines of light covered his skin. Symbols appeared in the air, ancient code hidden in his DNA. The commander froze when he saw the result. His face turned pale under the armor. "This is impossible. The prime key is alive." Cliffhanger. A deep sound echoed through space. A dark warship, older than any empire, appeared behind the alien fleet. The dark warship did not answer any signal. It did not show weapons or flags. It only drifted forward, silent like an ancient ghost. The alien fleet changed formation fast, panic moving through their lines. Every ship aimed at the black shape. The commander on Viridian hissed into his radio, ordering a full scan. Screen showed nothing. No heat, no engines, no life. Yet the warship moved, slow and steady, like a sleeping creature walking in its dreams. Inside the scanner cage, the boy opened his eyes again. Silver light pulsed, timed with the warship's motion. His heartbeat matched the ship's approach, like they shared one hidden rhythm. The alien advisor stepped to the commander and whispered, "This ship was last seen in the First War of the Sisters. We believed it was destroyed." The commander stared at the screen. Nothing destroys a myth. Above Viridian, the alien fleet prepared to fire. Soldiers on the ground pulled the boy away. The teacher crawled toward a corner, clutching her arm, eyes wide with fear and confusion. She heard the boy whisper a name she never heard before. Eclipse. Far away on Helios Prime, Captain Mara Aiden watched the same warship on her screen. Her voice cracked with disbelief. That ship should not wake without a prime key. The young officer beside her whispered, "What if the child is not only a key, but the owner?" Mara opened another part of the Project Sisters file, a hidden section sealed behind old code. It spoke about 2 types of humans, the common bloodline and the prime line, designed long ago to interface with technology older than Earth itself. Only a prime could command Eclipse-class ships. Only a prime could unlock the second colony's full power. On Viridian, the aliens tried one last scan. Symbols flashed across the machine, a language from outside the galaxy. Letters twisted into images of 2 half-worlds joined by a bridge of light. One side looked like Viridian's green fields. The other was pure black metal. The boy's voice was soft, almost tender. "They never understood us. Weak is not broken. Weak is hidden." A sudden pulse struck every alien device. Screens glitched. Weapons shut down. The fleet above froze in space, locked in invisible gravity. The black warship drifted closer, its hull opening like a blooming flower. Inside was a glowing core, silver liquid turning like a living mind. Captain Mara stared at the feed. "It's not a warship," she whispered. "It's a memory." People on Viridian felt the air vibrate. The boy stepped forward, ignoring the soldiers. Metal bent around his feet like soft sand. Cliffhanger. A voice from the warship spoke in perfect human language. "Welcome home, Commander." The voice froze every person in the square. The aliens raised their weapons again, hands shaking in fear. The teacher crawled toward the boy, whispering his name with a broken voice. The commander shouted orders no one understood anymore. Above them, the black warship opened wider. A storm of silver light poured out, silent but heavy, like the air itself turned into liquid metal. The alien soldiers panicked, forming a tight circle around the boy. Civilians screamed but could not run. The ground itself seemed to hold their feet. The commander pointed at the sky. "Fire on the core." But nothing fired. Every weapon clicked dead. The fleet's guns were locked by something inside that strange glowing memory. Inside the alien carrier, officers argued, shouting in fear. One slammed his fist against a console. It speaks human language. That means someone built it. Another whispered. Or, someone remembers it. The boy stood in the center of the square. His silver eyes reflected the warship like twin mirrors. He was not smiling. He was not afraid. He looked tired, like a child who saw too many things too fast. He raised his hand slowly, and the silver light reacted, forming a thin beam that touched the ground like a line being drawn. The teacher stared at the mark. It was a symbol, half a circle. Far away on Helios Prime, Captain Mara and her team watched everything on a flickering screen. Officers around her argued, fire the hidden cannons, jump the fleet through a forbidden route, or wait. One officer said, send a message to Earth. Mara answered sharply, no. Earth did not prepare for this. We did. Her tone hid something, a truth she carried alone. In the file's last pages, a note with her grandfather's signature. If a prime awakens early, Mara must contact the source. No one else saw her slip a small silver cube into her pocket. On Viridian, the alien commander turned to his advisor. Why was the prime line hidden on a weak colony? Why not on Earth? The advisor's voice trembled. Because Earth trusted the enemy's arrogance. No one attacks what looks useless. The black warship's core brightened. The air shook like thunder without sound. Civilians covered their ears, though there was nothing to hear. The boy dropped to his knees, eyes flickering with pain. A shape formed in the light, not metal, not machine. A face, made of memory. It looked human, old, wise. The teacher whispered, tears falling. Who are you? The face opened its mouth. Before a word came, a crack of blue lightning slammed into the warship from above. A new fleet entering orbit. Cliffhanger, a massive alien dreadnought arrived, broadcasting one order, eliminate the prime. Blue lightning crashed through the clouds. The new dreadnought cut across the sky like a burning scar. Before the commander could speak, a voice from the dreadnought broadcast across every channel. Eliminate the prime. No survivors. The alien soldiers on the ground reacted instantly, guns aimed at the child. The teacher threw herself over the boy, screaming for mercy. A soldier pushed her aside, ready to fire. But his weapon melted in his hands. Silver light crawled across the metal, twisting it into dust. The boy did not move. He only stared at the dreadnought. Above them, the black warship closed its hull like a shield. The silver face inside the light shifted, eyes narrowing with something like anger. The memory was awake, and it understood the threat. On the dreadnought's bridge, two alien generals argued. One shouted, "We cannot kill the Prime. It is a war crime." The other spoke coldly. "We must. If the Prime bonds with a ship, the old war returns." A symbol glowed on the general's armor, a circle split in half. He knew the history. On Helios Prime, Captain Mara watched the symbol too. Her eyes widened. That same circle was inside the Project Sisters file, a secret alliance between ancient humans and a faction inside the Dominion. A hidden deal. A hidden promise. Two enemies. Working together long ago. Mara whispered. The Dominion was divided. Someone helped build Eclipse. Her officers stared at her like she spoke madness. But the silver cube in her pocket pulsed once, like a heartbeat. On Viridian, the alien commander received a private message from the dreadnought, a voice he recognized. His brother. Follow the order. Kill the Prime Child. If not, I'll erase the entire colony. The commander's face broke. He looked at the boy, just a child, then at the sky. His hands shook. The memory face in the warship spoke for the first time, its voice deep and ancient. "We remember your promise." The commander staggered back. The dreadnought's commander shouted through the channel. "There is no promise. That treaty is dead." The boy pressed his hand to the ground. Silver lines spread like roots, forming a map no one understood. It showed stars, and one black sun. The teacher whispered, "What is that place?" The boy answered, "Our beginning." The dreadnought charged a massive weapon. Blue energy gathered under its wings. The colony trembled. The aliens pushed civilians away, preparing for impact, death from the sky. Suddenly, the black warship rose higher, blocking the shot. Silver energy wrapped its hull like armor. Cliffhanger, the dreadnought fired, and the black warship absorbed the entire blast. The blast vanished into the black warship like water into sand. No explosion. No fire. Only silver light spreading under its hull like veins waking in a sleeping giant. Everyone stared in shock. The dreadnought's bridge erupted in panic. Officers shouted, screens flashing warnings, energy absorbed, unknown process. The general who gave the kill order stared at the feed, shaking his head. "That ship is eating a star weapon," he whispered. On the ground, the boy opened his eyes again. A burning symbol flickered on his skin, the same symbol on the alien general's armor. Half a circle. Two halves missing each other. The teacher reached for him, but her hand passed through an invisible heat around his body. Something inside him was changing. Something old. Across space, Captain Mara stood frozen. The silver cube in her pocket pulsed faster, reacting to the blast. She pulled it out. The cube unfolded like petals, showing a tiny star map. It glowed on one point, a black sun, the same mark the boy drew in the dirt. An officer asked, voice shaking, "What is that star?" Mara answered without looking away. "It's not a star. It's a grave." Her voice sounded like memory. Her officers looked at each other. Mara knew more than she ever said. The file's note from her grandfather echoed in her mind. If the Prime wakes, the past will rise. Tell no one until the memory speaks. On the dreadnought, the second general, the one against killing the boy, stared at the screen. His armor showed the half-circle, same as the boy. Suddenly he whispered a phrase in an ancient language. The ship recognized it. His console unlocked a hidden channel. A voice spoke from the black warship directly into his mind. Calm, heavy, full of history. "Your blood remembers us." The general collapsed to his knees. Alien soldiers on Viridian saw their leader hesitate. They raised weapons again, confusion turning into fear, fear turning into violence. Civilians tried to run, but the ground cracked under the silver lines the boy created. A pattern spread. Two circles, merging. The boy whispered one word. Awaken. The black warship opened like a blooming star. Inside, machines moved, shaped like arms but flexible like living metal. They reached toward the colony, touching the air, touching the symbols on the ground. The teacher screamed and pulled the boy away, but the silver lines followed him, rising like light roots into the sky. Captain Mara watched, heart cold. She whispered something no one heard. Just like the first time. Her officer turned. What first time? Mara didn't answer. Cliffhanger. The black warship projected a vision, showing Earth burning under a black sun. The vision hit everyone like lightning. Earth burning under a black sun. Cities turning to dust without fire. No ships. No war. Just silence. Then the image snapped. Something moved inside it. On the glowing projection, a shape appeared behind the burning planet. Long, thin, alive, yet made of metal. Not a ship. Not a creature. Something between. The boy gasped and fell to his knees, covering his ears though the vision was silent. The alien soldiers forgot the civilians. They watched the sky, terrified. Their commanders lost control. Orders meant nothing in the face of a threat no one understood. Above, the dreadnought turned its guns away from the warship. It aimed upward, at empty space. Sensors screamed. Object detected. Unknown scale. Something was coming. The black warship pulsed. Its silver light shook like it was afraid. The face inside the core blurred, eyes filled with ancient grief. The boy whispered, "They followed us." No one knew what he meant. But Captain Mara did. On Helios Prime, Mara moved fast, shouting for her officers to open every archive from the First War of the Sisters. Screens filled with old battle logs, broken records, encrypted symbols. One image repeated, a shadow weapon swallowing stars without explosions. An officer grabbed Mara's arm. "That thing in the vision, is it real?" Mara's voice was low. "It ended the first colonies. Not the warships. Not the armies. That thing. She closed her eyes, memory cutting like a knife. Her grandfather's voice inside her mind. Earth never feared the Dominion. Earth feared what the Dominion woke. On Viridian, the ground cracked again. Silver lines formed a circle around the colony, glowing like fire trapped under stone. The boy stared at the sky, his pupils shrinking in fear. He looked too old for his age now, almost like he remembered dying before. The Dreadnought's commander shouted a warning across all channels. Unknown entity inbound. All fleets prepare defense. His voice had no hate now, only desperation. The second general, the one who carried the half-circle symbol, stepped forward. He touched the projection with his hand. The vision reacted, showing two halves of the symbol joining. He whispered, "We were supposed to fight it together, long ago." The commander grabbed his arm. "You betrayed us." The general shook his head. "No. Our empire betrayed history." The sky turned dark, though it was daytime. Something massive blocked light. Not metal, not rock. A shadow curtain spread across the upper atmosphere. The teacher pulled the boy close, tears falling. "What is happening?" The boy answered with a breaking voice. "We woke up too late." Silver light burst from the warship, shooting into the sky like a signal. "Cliffhanger," the shadow answered, with a roar that shook the planet. The roar filled the sky like a living storm. The shadow above the planet stretched, forming long arms of darkness. Every person on Viridian stared upward, breath frozen. For one heartbeat, everything felt clear. The warship wasn't the danger. The danger was what the warship was running from. The black warship's silver core glowed, bright and fast, like it feared death. The face inside the light returned, eyes heavy with memories of a war no one alive remembered. The boy trembled, gripping the teacher's hand. He whispered, "It's not a monster. It's a mirror." No one understood. But the shadow moved like a broken reflection, copying the warship's shape with twisted darkness. It wasn't attacking, it was approaching, drawn to the bright core like hunger. On the dreadnought, alarms screamed. Officers shouted orders, preparing shield walls and energy nets. The commander stared at the shadow, sweat on his face. He whispered, not to his soldiers, but to himself. "We woke something that should never wake." The second general turned, eyes wide with the truth finally remembered. "This is not invasion. It is return." He touched the half-circle on his armor, voice shaking. Two halves were split. One stayed metal. One turned into shadow. The commander shoved him back. "Nonsense, it's a weapon." The general shouted. "No. It is our child, left in the dark when the sisters fled the first sun." The warship pulsed, like it understood that sentence. Its hull opened again, forming silver wings, creating a line of glowing symbols in the air. The symbols matched the lines on the boy's skin. Captain Mara watched the symbols on Helios Prime. Her face went pale. She recognized them, not from the file, but from her grandfather's stories. They were not battle orders. They were apologies. Her voice cracked. The sisters did not win. They escaped. And they left something behind. Officers stared at her, silent and afraid. On Viridian, the shadow's roar lowered into a deep echo. The sky felt thinner, like a window made of fabric. Black shapes moved inside the darkness. Eyes? Engines? Memories? The boy squeezed the teacher's hand until she winced. "They thought we died," he said softly. "And now they want us back." The teacher's voice shook. "Who wants you?" The boy looked up. "The other half of us." People on the ground began crying, not loud, but deep, like their bodies understood something their minds refused. The alien commander lowered his weapon, realizing his orders meant nothing against a truth older than empires. The warship lifted higher, taking the silver lines with it, tearing the sky open in a circle of light and shadow. Black lightning cracked, splitting the air like glass. "Cliffhanger." A human voice came from inside the shadow. "Sister, why did you leave me?" The sky shook like it was breaking. People ran without knowing where to run. The shadow spoke again, a human voice, full of sadness and rage. The black warship answered with a long silver pulse, like a scream made of light. Everything felt close to ending. The dreadnought counted down weapons, but every shot failed before firing. Their systems died like something was drinking energy straight from the core. Officers shouted, pulling cables by hand, panic rising through metal corridors. On the ground, the boy collapsed, eyes glowing like burning stars. The teacher held him, crying, but he only looked upward, whispering through shaking breath. Two halves joining. The alien commander watched the shadow form shape. Long arms, a twisted hull, a face half human, half machine. His voice cracked. We never fought it. We abandoned it. The second general stood beside him, tears in his eyes. Our empire was born from a lie. We called this a weapon. It was our child, left under the dark sun. The commander raised his gun, not at the boy, but at his own armor symbol. He shot it, burning the half-circle from his chest. No more lying. Above, the black warship moved fast, faster than any engine should allow. It flew between the shadow and the planet, forming a wall of silver symbols. The symbols changed shape every second, like a code unlocking itself. On Helios Prime, Captain Mara ran to her command table, shouting orders. Activate the sister gate. Her officers stared at her like she lost her mind. The gate is unfinished. It was never tested. Mara slammed her hand on the table. We don't have time. If they merge here, everything ends. A soldier entered, holding an old data crystal. We found this in the archive. It names the prime child. Mara read the name. Her face went white. He was chosen before birth. Back on Viridian, the boy's body shook. Silver lines moved under his skin like rivers. The teacher screamed. Stop, you're hurting him. But the boy looked at her with calm eyes, whispering, I'm not dying. I am opening. A shockwave burst from his chest. Soft, silent, but it tore dust into the sky. The black warship reacted instantly, forming a protective shell around him. The shadow roared, a sound like metal crying. The dreadnought's countdown ended, 0, but there was no explosion. Instead, every ship above the planet started moving without pilots. Like invisible hands were pulling them into formation. The boy lifted his head. Gold mixed with the silver in his eyes. A third color, something no one had ever seen. Everyone stared. Frozen. Cliffhanger. The boy spoke, in a voice older than humanity. I remember everything. The boy's voice shook the air. Calm, ancient, full of memory. Every ship in the sky froze mid-flight. The shadow stopped roaring, like it recognized that voice. The black warship lowered its silver wings, bending toward the child. Everyone understood the twist at once. The child was the commander. Not of this battle, but of the first war long ago. The truth rose like fire. The boy was not chosen by Earth. He was Earth's last survivor from the old war, reborn through the prime line. A living memory, hidden in a weak colony, waiting for the enemy to return. The shadow's human voice cracked with emotion. You left me under the dark sun. Why did you run? The boy stepped forward, tears falling down his small face, voice echoing with two tones, a child and a forgotten leader speaking together. I did not run. I sent you away. To save you. The sky trembled. The shadow form twisted into a clearer shape. A second child, the other half of the prime line, abandoned during the escape long ago. The Dominion had found the shadow first, raised it as a weapon, and forgot the truth. The monster was their lost family, crying alone for centuries. The alien commander dropped to his knees, ashamed. He whispered, We fought your child without knowing. The second general spoke, voice broken. Our ancestors knew. They lied to protect their power. He looked at the shadow the way a father looks at a child he never met. Silver light spread from the black warship, forming a bridge between the boy and the shadow. Two symbols glowed, two halves of a circle, finally touching. The boy held out his hand. I came back for you. The shadow lowered its massive head, darkness bending into light. I waited in the dark sun. I thought you forgot. The two halves merged, not crashing, not fighting, but embracing. Light and shadow folded together, becoming one shape, neither metal nor spirit. A full circle burned across the sky. Every ship fell silent. Every weapon died. War simply ended. Captain Mara watched from Helios Prime, tears in her eyes. Her grandfather's note finally made sense. Sisters win only by becoming whole. The boy turned to the alien soldiers, his voice soft, childlike again. No colony is weak. Weakness is a mask to hide strength from eyes full of fear. The ground shook as the circle collapsed into a single point of light, the merged memory returning to the sky, beyond human reach. The black warship closed its wings like a resting bird, and slept. People cried. Not from fear, from understanding. The teacher held the boy close, even as silver faded from his eyes. She whispered, "Is it over?" The boy looked at the stars, expression unreadable. No. Someone else heard the signal. Far beyond the black sun, another circle opened its eyes.